Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into my video. My name is John Erskin. I'm with John's ESL Community, and today I'm going to give you 8 tips to help you improve your English. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, I know all of you out there who are studying English are probably having some difficulty, right? English is difficult, not something that you're going to learn overnight. So I'm going to give you 8 tips that will help you in your pursuit of English excellence. Tip number 1, listen to normal, natural English as much as possible. Since you're watching this channel, I can only assume that you probably also watch other English language teaching channels on YouTube, which is great, as long as they use natural language. Now, what do I mean by natural language? I mean language as it's spoken by native English speakers. So, let's look at this example. Today, we're going to talk about 8 tips to help you learn English. Today, we're going to talk about 8 tips to help you learn English. Okay, which one of those sentences sounded natural? The first one, right? The second one was too slow, but that's how many English teachers talk. And I understand the reason for that. I've been teaching English for 20 years in Korea. And when I'm in class, I have to slow down my speech, or a lot of my students won't understand what I'm saying. But my goal is to get them to the point where they can understand me as I speak naturally. And that should be your goal as well, to be able to understand natural English spoken by native English speakers. Now, let's look at another example. Hello, John. Hello. How are you today? Fine, thank you. And you? I'm fine too. This is not how native English speakers greet each other. It's not real English. So, how would they greet each other? Let's look at this. Hey John, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Not bad, how about you? Yeah, I'm okay. Can you tell the difference between the two conversations? The second conversation is more natural. That's the way native English speakers would actually greet each other. Okay? Now, there are many ways to greet people in English. In fact, if you look on the internet, you'll find websites that list up to 20 or 25 different phrases or words that you can use for greetings. I'm going to leave a link in the description of the 10 most common greetings that you can check out after you finish watching the video. Tip number 2 is to learn new words in context. Learn new words in the context where they appear in sentences and conversations. It does not really make any sense to learn new words out of context. Just studying lists of vocabulary words isn't going to help you if you don't know how to use the words, if you don't know when to use the words. Okay? So, let's say you study a list of vocabulary words and you learn all the words and you can spell them and you can pronounce them, but you don't know when or how to use them. What have you accomplished? Not much, really. So you have to learn words in context. Learn words in sentences and conversations where they're used. Okay, tip number 3 is to practice speaking English out loud. This sounds obvious, right? But as a teacher in Korea for the last 20 years, I've seen thousands of students who study English every day, but they can't carry on a simple conversation. They can't even introduce themselves properly. Why is that? Well, the answer is simple. It's because they study to pass a test. They don't study to learn the language. They don't try to use English as a communication tool. They use it to pass a test. They don't study to learn. You have to study English with the goal of speaking English. Now, the best way to learn how to speak English is to speak English. There are several ways to do this. The easiest way to practice speaking English is to repeat things you hear. For example, you might want to stop this video and repeat what I have said using the captions. By speaking out loud, you are training your mouth to use English. You're also training your ears to hear yourself speak English. One of the problems with people learning English is that they're not used to hearing themselves speak English. Think about the first time you ever heard yourself on a recording. Did you recognize your voice? I know every time I listen to my voice on a video or a recording, I wonder, who is that guy? That doesn't sound like me. But it is me. All right? And when you're speaking a foreign language, that sense of not knowing who you're listening to is exacerbated. It becomes worse because you're not used to hearing yourself speak English. So to get over that, you have to speak English. And you have to speak English out loud so that you can hear it. So stop the video that you're watching. Repeat what I've said. And that will train your mouth to speak English, and it will train your ears to hear you speak English. And the more you get used to hearing yourself speak this strange language, the better you'll become at speaking English. Okay, that brings me to tip number 4, which is related to speaking English out loud. And that's reading English books. But not just reading English books, but read them out loud. Read them so you can hear yourself. Now, a lot of students complain to me that they don't have anyone to practice English with. That they study English in class and they go home and there's no one to talk to. Reading English books solves that problem. You're never at a shortage of English to say and to practice if you're reading an English book. Just like speaking English out loud trains your ears and trains your mouth, reading English out loud does the same because you're speaking English. Also, reading English, or just reading in general, is the fastest way for you to increase your vocabulary. So when you're reading and you come across a word that you don't understand, look it up. And you're going to be learning that word in the context that it's used. Just like I said in tip number 2, learn words in context. Now, let's say that you think, oh my God, my English is so poor, I can't read English books. I just can't. Well, you can. You just have to start with a level that's appropriate. You want a book that's at your level or just a little above so that it challenges you. If you think that your English is too poor to read, start with something like this. This is called Biscuit. This is a children's book, and it's very, very, very simple. It practices the to be verb and nouns. And anybody can read this. So start here, and then work up. It doesn't matter. Work up until you can read, I don't know, Game of Thrones. As you read aloud, as you increase your vocabulary through reading, your level will increase slowly, 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 until you can read anything on the market. So read. Reading is the number one key, in my opinion, to learning a language. So read, 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 read. Number 5, watch English movies with English subtitles. Subtitles are your friend. If your English is low enough that you can't understand what's being said on the screen when you're watching a movie or watching a TV program in English, use subtitles. That way you can follow what's being said with the subtitles and the spoken English on the screen. Now, is it easy? Of course not. It's difficult. You may miss a little bit, but that's okay. Keep trying. Keep trying, keep trying. And the more you do it, the better you will become. And soon, you'll be able to watch English movies without subtitles. That's your goal. So, watch English movies, English TV programs, but watch them with subtitles. And I have to emphasize here, English subtitles, not your native language subtitles. Yes, I know you can get the English movies with your native language subtitle, and that's cool, but that's not going to help you. It's not. You need to watch English movies, English programs with English subtitles. Subtitles are your friend, but only if you use them properly. Okay, that brings me to tip number 6, and you have to be careful with tip number 6. Tip number 6 is to talk to native English speakers. Native English speakers are your best resource for conversation, but you have to be careful. Why? Okay, I live in Korea. I've lived in Korea for 20 years. I've been teaching Korean students for 20 years, and I go to work Monday through Friday, and I teach English every day. Since I teach English Monday through Friday, I don't necessarily want to teach English on Saturday and Sunday. I don't necessarily want to teach English in the evening when I get home, because I've been doing it all day. So if you're going to utilize your English teacher as a conversation partner, you have to be able to bring something to the relationship. Don't tell people you want to make friends with them just so you can practice English. That's not cool. If someone says to me, "Oh, I want to be your friend," and I say, "Why?" and they say, "Because I need to practice English," I don't want to be their friend. They're not bringing anything to the relationship. You know, maybe offer to buy a dinner, or pay for the next round of drinks, or pay for coffee, whatever. Do something so that the person you're trying to use as a conversation partner doesn't feel like they're being used just for their English. Native English speakers can be an excellent resource for you to learn English and to improve your conversational abilities. But bring something to the table, make it an equal relationship, make them feel like that you're really there to be their friend and not just someone to talk English to or someone to speak English to. Okay, that brings me to tip number 7. And tip number 7 is probably the hardest tip that you'll have to follow. And that is practice every day. Every day. Practice speaking English. Set yourself a schedule up where you do something every day for 30 minutes to 1 hour. So one day you might read out loud. Choose a book that you want to read and read for 30 minutes straight out loud. The next day, go out and meet your English speaking friend and have a cup of coffee or dinner. Then another day, watch an English movie or TV program with subtitles. But do something every day. Make yourself speak English every day. Now, when I say every day, I don't mean study for tests. Of course you have to study. You have to get out the books. You have to do the time. You have to read and study vocabulary. You have to do that, okay? But when I say practice every day, I mean practice English speaking every day. 30 minutes to 1 hour a day. And if you'll do that, you will be surprised at your progress. Tip number 8, don't give up. Let me say that again. Don't give up. Learning a new language is difficult. It's not easy. It takes work. It takes commitment. It takes dedication. You have to work at it. There will be times when you will get discouraged. There will be times when you won't want to study. You won't want to practice. You won't want to keep your schedule. In fact, there will be times when you hate English so much that you don't want anything to do with English language, English materials, English speaking people. You just want to get rid of it all. And that's okay. Everybody who studies a foreign language goes through that. It's natural. The point is that you go through it. You get over it. And you pick up your books and you continue to study. You can't give up. I've had students tell me that they quit studying English. They stopped. And when I asked them why, they said, "Oh, it's difficult." Of course it's difficult. I got news for you. Life is difficult. Anything worthwhile in life requires dedication, requires commitment, and has a level of difficulty. And if you give up on everything that's difficult in life, you'll have nothing. You'll do nothing. You'll accomplish nothing. You can't give up. Have a reason for learning English. Have a plan. Get a schedule. Follow these tips. Practice every day. And eventually, you will be able to speak English. Okay, those are my 8 tips to help you learn English. I hope you got something out of it. Which tip do you think is most valuable to you? Which of those tips, if any, do you already practice? Which ones are you likely to start practicing if you don't already? Leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. Share it with your friends and classmates. And if you're not a subscriber, you should see the logo on your screen now. Click that logo and become a subscriber for future videos designed to help you learn English. Leave any comments that you might have or questions that you might have in the comment section below. I promise I'll answer all of your questions and respond to any appropriate comments. As always, thanks for watching.